Good day, everyone. This is my friend Peely.
Hi.
Hi. She's learning English and I'm learning Spanish. We're going to have a conversation, first in English, then in Spanish. We'll be using phrases or words that may be unfamiliar to you. So before we start, we'd like to talk about those phrases so you know what to expect. For example, we'll be using, "Let me introduce myself," which is a polite way to introduce yourself if no one else is there to introduce you. Then, when someone introduces themselves to you, "Nice to meet you" is a pleasant, friendly way to acknowledge that introduction. Finally, the person who has introduced themselves can say something like, "Likewise," which is a short way to say similarly or in a like manner. What other phrases or words do you think are helpful, Peely?
Well, I think the ways surprise or disbelief are expressed are interesting. For example, we could say, "Really? What? Are you serious? Are you joking? No way."
Great, thanks.
By the way, while we were talking about confusing messages, why do we use had as a verb in our conversation?
That's a great question. Head is one of those words that can be used as a noun or a verb. When it's used as a verb, it means to move in a specified direction. So you can head to town. Or if someone seems to be making a mistake, you could say, "He's heading for trouble."
Thanks. I also believe that negative questions can be very useful, especially when you expect the other person to agree with what you are asking. For example, we could say, "Why don't we go out to dinner?" Or, "Aren't you going to go to the cinema?"
You're right. Other things English speakers use are idioms, phrasal verbs, and phrases. Today we're going to use awesome, which is a popular word that's used to mean extremely impressive or inspiring great admiration. And free time, which means time that is free from duties or responsibilities when you can do what you want. Then there's grab a bite to eat.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. Why do we use the verb grab, which basically means to take physical control of something?
That's another good question. This is an idiom, so like most idioms, it doesn't make a lot of sense. However, it means get something to eat that can be eaten quickly. So if you remember that when you grab something, it's a quick action, then grabbing something to eat lets the listener know the meal will be quick.
Okay, I see what you mean. Thanks.
Sure, we'll also be using a phrasal verb, which, as you know, is a verb followed by a preposition. The one we'll use is pick up, and it means go somewhere to collect someone or something, typically in your car.
Another helpful phrase is "how about," which is used to make a recommendation or an offer. For example, "How about having an ice cream?"
Right. And a couple of introductory phrases are also useful. "Now that you mention it" is a phrase that's used when you remember or realize something because of something someone else said. For example, "Now that you mention it, a trip to the beach sounds great." And "by the way" is used to introduce a topic that's not directly connected with what's being spoken about. For example, "By the way, aren't you staying at the Best Western Hotel?"
Also, "sounds like a plan" indicates that you agree with an idea or a proposal.
Right again. Thanks for your help, Peely.
Don't mention it.
Okay, let's start talking. Good morning. Let me introduce myself. I'm Becky.
Hi, I'm Pili. Nice to meet you, Becky.
Likewise, I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, really? I hope it was great.
Don't worry, it was great. When did you get here?
I flew in yesterday.
Really? From where?
from Spain. Did you live here?
Yes, all my life. How long will you be here?
I'll only be here 2 days. Then I will head to New York.
Awesome. You'll love the Big Apple. What do you have planned for the next 2 days?
Nothing special, really.
Well, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, now that you mention it, I like to learn about your culture.
Okay, why don't we go to a rodeo?
Are you joking? Do rodeos happen all the time?
No, but this is Fair Week, so there's a rodeo at the fairgrounds every night this week.
That sounds perfect.
Great. By the way, aren't you staying at the Best Western? I could pick you up at your hotel tonight.
Okay, what time will you be there?
How about if I pick you up at 6? We can grab a bite to eat first.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, sorry, I have to run. So long. See you in a few hours.
Great, I look forward to it.
Me too. Thank you, Peely, and thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to watch my other pronunciation videos. The information we talked about earlier is on my website, so if you'd like to check that out, click on the link in the notes below the video. Now we're going to have the same conversation in Spanish, so if you'd like to listen to that, just stay tuned.
Hola, permíteme que me presente. Soy Pili.
Hola, yo Becky. Encantada, Pili.
Igualmente, he oído mucho sobre ti.
De verdad, espero que para bien.
No te preocupes, fue bueno. ¿Cuándo llegaste?
Llegué ayer en avión
¿De verdad? ¿De dónde?
de los Estados Unidos. ¿Tú vives aquí?
Sí, toda mi vida. ¿Cuánto tiempo estarás aquí?
Estaré solo 2 días, luego me dirigiré a Sevilla.
Genial. Te encantará la Plaza de España. ¿Qué planes tienes para los próximos días?
Realmente nada en particular.
¿Qué te gustaría hacer en tu tiempo libre?
Ahora que lo dices, me gustaría aprender algo sobre tu cultura.
¿Por qué no vamos a la Noche Blanca del Flamenco?
¿Bromeas? ¿Hay flamenco todo el tiempo?
No, pero esta semana se celebra el festival anual, así que hay un concierto cada noche.
Suena perfecto.
Bien, por cierto, ¿no te alojas en el Meliá? ¿Puedo recogerte allí esta noche?
Sí, ¿a qué hora llegarás?
¿Qué tal si te recojo a las 6? Podemos picar algo primero.
Es un buen plan.
Uf, lo siento, tengo que irme. Hasta luego, nos vemos en unas horas.
Bien, te esperaré impaciente. Thank you again, Pili, and thank you all for listening to the Spanish Dialogue. As I said before, if you enjoyed this conversation, please like this video. You can also improve your English pronunciation by watching my other videos on my channel. Please feel free to subscribe to it. The explanation of the different meanings and uses of the vocabulary that we talked about at the very beginning of this video is free on my website. So if you'd like to check that out, click on the link below this video. And keep talking.
Bye.
Bye.